All right, you have your brand new OneXPlayer console right out of the box, and you're ready to just play some games. So I'm going to go over a couple tips and tricks here at the end, but also first things to do right out of the box to get you ready to start playing. First thing is going to be all the drivers. Make sure that those are up to date. So I'll start here with the graphics driver. Using an APU from AMD, that means we can get our GPU and CPU drivers all in the same spot, so that's convenient. Just Google AMD drivers, go to their website here, and download the Windows 10 and 11 drivers. This is just a software that's going to do automatic detection on your system to figure out what you're running. So once we get that downloaded, get into our download folder, get it up and running. This is the X2 Mini Pro. So for GPU, we're going to have the 8060S graphics, and for the CPU, it's the Ryzen AI Max Plus 388. But this process will be pretty seamless across OneXPlayer devices, so just make sure your device's CPU and GPU show up there. If you are using the OneXPlayer 3 and you have the new G3 Extreme device from Intel, visit Intel's website for appropriate drivers. Once that finishes installing, this will actually take a while here, so I kind of skipped through this, but go ahead and close out that. You can launch that AMD Adrenalin software if you want to start tweaking some stuff, but we're going to hold off on that for now. Now we're going to head to the OneXPlayer website. Tried to go directly to drivers here, but it didn't work, so up top you can just navigate to support up there. Drivers, and then in this drop down menu here, just choose your appropriate device. And once you pick your device, you want to go ahead and hit the driver and download this. It's going to tell you it's a big file, but get that downloaded. It's going to be a zip file, so go ahead and click on that, hit extract. Jump in there, and then they made this really convenient, so all you have to do, you can go through individually and see everything that's going to get installed, all the drivers updated, but all you have to do is click on this setup, and once you run that, it's going to go through the whole list, get everything all updated for you from OneXPlayer for this device. And once it's done, it'll say success at the end. You can go ahead and just close that out. Always recommend a quick restart after doing all those new drivers. Then one more place to kind of check for updates. So you can hit the 1X button on your controller to open up this menu and click on the little controller down there on the left. Or if you just hold down your 1X button, it'll take you into, this is the ONEXConsole. So here up top, if you go over to others, then you can go to updates, and it'll show you here if you have anything updates between BIOS, controllers, or anything else. Or you can go to the little gear icon and say check for update. So I already had everything all up to date when I filmed this, but I did have a pop-up here, and it prompted me to download an update, and it'll automatically install that. So at this point, you'd be ready to start downloading some games, and you'll probably game pretty successfully without any issues. But I want to go over a couple more things here. So inside the console here, you have the performance overlay. So if you want to use that to view things like your temperatures, your FPS, battery usage, all that good stuff, then you're going to want to do those updates. So when you open it, it's just going to have those two separate boxes you can click on, and those will take you directly to download links. Once those are both downloaded, one's going to be a zip. So go into your downloads, unzip it, then run the installer. This is for RTSS Riva Tuner. So just go ahead and run through that install process, pretty self-explanatory. go back in, and then we'll do hardware info as well. Once those are both installed, you can just click on there, and then your overlay is going to start working. So see it up top there giving us all the readings. If you hold down on it or press Y on your controller, it'll take you into this extra menu where you can set FPS limits. Here you can choose whether it's going to be on all the time or just when games are detected. Then you have a couple different overlays you can look at. So you can have this vertical one that gives you a little bit more info, takes up more room. Just FPS in the top corner, or that original horizontal one that we were looking at the beginning. This click through, that so with that off, you can grab and drag that around. But if you turn that on, it'll let you actually click things behind it. So just a personal preference there. Then your transparency level just depends on how well you want to be able to see it while you have games up and running. All right, if you want to check your RAM speed, just open your task manager and click on your memory. You can see the capacity and your speed there. So this is the 48 gigabyte model, which actually comes with 7500 speed on the RAM. The 64 gigs have 8000, so I upped this to 8000. To get into BIOS, hit restart, mash that delete key, bring you here. We'll go over to advanced, down to AMD CBS. And then UMC common options are DDR5 options, LPDDR, that first option, and then we'll scroll down and we have to accept. It's just giving us a warning here. Then here, click on that first option. Yours will be set to auto, put it to enabled. And then the second one, it'll give you a drop down and you can select which speed you want. So here we are choosing that 8000 speed to match the 64 gigabyte models. And after that, just go over to save and exit. Make sure you save your changes and exit, and it'll just restart your system. And you can go back into Task Manager and verify that your speed did increase. Right, so in our ONEXConsole shortcut here, a couple more convenient tiles here. Go down to your RGB, so control different RGBs here. On this specific console, you can control individually each stick, that G key down there, and then the top has a little RGB strip as well. So a couple different options for different RGB. And if you go down to the bottom, you can apply it to all if you want it all to match. In game here, you can see your VRAM, FPS, what your TDP is set at there. Then over on the left, your battery percentage, estimate of how much time you have left, and what your total wattage being pulled by the device is. Another really useful implementation, probably one of the best I've seen on a Windows console, is this freeze function. It's a good way to quick resume a game. So you can go over to this fridge tile, select your game, and it'll kind of put it to sleep in the background. Now you can hit your power button. I have mine set to hibernate because I have trust issues with the sleep mode. I've had devices before, put them in sleep mode, and then put them in a bag or something, and then they kicked back on, and that's really not good for a device to be kicking on while it's inside of a carrying case or anything like that. It just gets the heat going. You could lead to some thermal throttling. So it's turned off here. See, we're in full hibernate. Turn it back on here. Kick back on. And I'll show you how that freeze function works. So with that hibernate, it does like almost a full shutdown, but it does keep some things running, so it's a little bit better than that sleep mode. See here, pull back up to our fridge mode, uncheck Cyberpunk, and it's just right back running where we were before. So it takes a little bit longer than like a Steam Deck from waking, but I've had a lot of success using it like this to resume games after a long period of time. Another useful feature is you have this keyboard button here on the controllers. Actually, if you hold down on that until your LED on the left flashes there, you now have a mouse with your left joystick. Then you can use the A and B buttons as left click and right click. If you pull up something that has like a long list, here we'll go to just like YouTube, and you can actually use the right stick to scroll a page. So you can do it on the web pages, but we'll jump into YouTube here. Not logged in, so we will just search for some dog videos, and you can see full screen here, and that works as a scroll wheel. So the last tip here is something that kind of makes a Windows handheld feel more like a console experience rather than a clunky Windows laptop handheld kind of semi-experience, and that's using Xbox full screen experience. You can just go into Windows and enable this initially, but it doesn't always give you the best version of that. So if you go Google Xbox full screen experience GitHub, come to this page here, and you can go all the way down where it talks about the full screen experience here, go all the way down to the latest version, pass system requirements, and download the latest right here. So it's version 0.9.4 at the time of making this video. Go ahead and get that downloaded. There's 2 links. Make sure you pick the full version. Once that finishes downloading, go ahead and click on it. Tell it that you're okay to run that. Just do a quick install here. Done. And that's actually going to install a shortcut on your desktop. Go ahead and get that opened up and then run the installer here. And that is going to force you into a restart, where once you get back into Windows, open up your Xbox app. Make sure we get everything set up here now. And before I did that install, this wasn't showing up at all, but now you should have an Xbox mode up the upper right there. So you can click that. It'll ask you to enable some stuff in your Windows settings. Let's go ahead and enable... choose the home app as the Xbox, and then turn on the entering the full screen experience on startup. Now we can go ahead and click that Xbox mode and jump into it for the first time. It's going to ask for a restart to optimize performance. Another thing in the Xbox mode too is it shuts down a lot of processes that are running in the background, so it gives you more resources to use when you're gaming. So it's another good reason to use it. Then you will fire up right into the Xbox full screen experience here after logging in. So I obviously don't really have this too set up, but it'll display all your games here. You also have a My Apps tab where you'll be able to access a bunch of other launchers, things like that. So we'll get Steam, that logged in here. So it'll kind of do its Windows thing with the installs, but going forward after that, it's just going to launch you right into the apps. But once you get up and running with everything, it'll be a pretty seamless experience. So you're in here. You can actually use that G key, the LED lit up key, as your Xbox button. So you can go home with that, or if you hold it down, once you have a bunch of apps open, you'll be able to switch through them here, and then you can just switch over to desktop mode there at the bottom. Well, that will be it for this one. So be on the lookout for more content. Got some more One X devices coming.